Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Joshua Baez podcast that, like Joshua Baez, has a better shot at winning the NL Rookie of the Year than Sal Stewart. Joshua Baez. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined by my co-host, Ben Samore. If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. And thank you to whoever you are, wherever you are, for submitting that opening bit. Obviously, a lot of excitement. That was, you probably know what day that was messaged to me.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement in the Cardinals sphere about young Joshua Baez and his MLB debut. A bit of a deep cut. I don't think, Hambone, you and I have a better chance of winning NL Rookie of the Year than Sal Stewart.
I think that person is stating what I believe to be true, and that's that he's not going to win it. It's JJ Weatherhold's to lose. So I think, we have as good of chance as anyone not named JJ Weatherhold. So it's accurate.
Do you think we have an equal chance to winning the Rookie of the Year than Sal Stewart?
By both being 0, yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone, with this logic, everyone has a 50% chance. Either win it or you don't.
Yeah, that's the way of the world, Nathan.
So obviously, like I said, a lot of Joshua Baez excitement. I mean, I don't know how we really open up this episode with anything other than remarking on that right out of the gates.
Mark away.
What a day.
Wow.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day.
He homered
3 times in a row. It's baseball is one of the fun things about baseball. I think that a lot of baseball people enjoy is the long history of it, and these records and these stats that are 150 years old, and these unbreakable things, or any random game you'll get something like, this is the first time since 1992 that a home run's been hit at the bottom of the ninth with 2 on and 4 out and a guy in left field wearing a bubblegum hat, and you're like, okay, cool. I like that, but it's not every day where you get a first in MLB history that is so loud and representative of an actually talented output. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It doesn't require extreme specificity to be relevant. It's guy came up, he kept hitting he started hitting home run and kept hitting home runs longer than anybody else in the history of the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty wild. I love too that is 3 home runs off of 3 different pitches, all went to 3 different parts of the field.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that first one, 440 some odd feet dead center, was a really nice way to announce your arrival. Then 2 kind of just working man home run. It's not like they were cheapies or anything like that, but hard hit balls to left and right. It was he did everything. He did everything a power hitter can do.
I saw also that dead center home run, first pitch you ever saw at MLB level, was the 3rd longest in Wrigley Field history as well. I only saw that in one spot, but that's pretty remarkable. On your
Shocked
first swing in it. Yeah. I mean, one of the oldest ballparks in the game.
Yeah. He also, he swings as hard as anybody that's ever played baseball. So it's plausible, I guess, but that is shocking information. I'm learning that in real time, Nathan, and that is surprising to hear.
I am a bit of a newsbreaker, That's It's part of the value you get out of this show is the breaking news that we bring to you all 1 week at a time.
Yeah. If that news happens on Wednesday afternoon, we'll get it to you in 24 hours.
Yeah. Hey, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you might get it Wednesday afternoon also. Of course.
We're sitting here talking about a game that happened on Saturday, so we just whip it around real fast, much like a Joshua Baez home run.
He, of course, then went on to strike out roughly 1 billion times, giving us the full Josh Baez experience at the MLB level already.
And we like it.
We do like it. We're loving it, don't we, folks? 2 talls. We got 2 talls out there. It's what you've been looking for.
Well, it's funny because Joshua Baez is a large specimen of a human. And I saw him standing next to Jordan Walker when they were celebrating in the outfield together. And I was like, God, Jordan Walker makes him look like a kid. He's just so big.
I'm really worried that if Victor Scott comes back up, he's not going to survive a chest bump victory there. He's just going to get squished and his little head's going to go flying off into space.
Yeah, I think that I share that concern. It makes a lot of sense, and I think we'll have to do something. This is why you need to rock the vote come November, Nate. Get legislation in place.
I desperately need everyone to Pokemon go to the polls this November to get me, I guess, in there to protect Victor Scott.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
That's what you're. Yeah. Well, you know, my big stance is there's too many Dakotas.
Right.
We don't need both.
Right.
So if you vote for me,
we're gonna have to run for a national office for that one.
Got to start somewhere.
Okay.
But my core platform is we don't need both Dakotas.
Yeah.
After that, I guess it's protect Victor Scott in case of a chest bump. Those are my platforms. We're not protecting our Victor Scotts.
Can we broaden that to just protect Victor Scott at all costs?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point.
All right.
Argo, boy.
Yep.
Hambone, I saw the Odyssey over the weekend.
Cool.
And I had pitched to you, like what, I'd asked you like, what monster do you think gets you in, if you were part of Odysseus's crew? And after having seen the film, I've updated my own what gets me, and I think you'll appreciate this.
I thought you weren't even making it onto the boat, is what we decided.
Well, it's still true, but it's I think what happens is I'm in the horse.
Yeah.
And it's just too quiet in there for me. And I won't stop cracking bits.
Yeah.
And they're worried that I'm going to expose the whole plant and I get stabbed to death by my own crew.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm in there like, why don't they make the whole horse out of the black box? You know? And then they're like, shut the fuck up, Nate. I'm like, and then they stab me to death.
So somehow,
I think that's probably how I go.
Yeah, in this scenario, you're an elite enough warrior to be chosen to be a part of Odysseus's inner crew in the horse. But then when your back is against the wall of the horse, you can't stop bidding, and they kill you. I find that pretty plausible for somebody who's known you your entire life. I can see all that happening. Yeah,
someone's got to be keeping the mood light in there. Yeah,
I think that.
Or Sinat out there,
Yeah, it's hard.
My only other guy that I think, and this is a light spoiler for the Odyssey of story we've all heard our entire lives, but I had originally said that I'm probably hopping in after the hotties, chasing down those sirens.
Sure.
And I love, there's a guy on the boat who removes his the wax from his ears so he can hear the sirens and then goes and jumps into the water and presumably dies.
Yeah.
And that has been making me laugh because by the logic of the sirens, that was a personal choice that guy made. He had his ears clogged up. And
you're assuming a lot, Nathan. You're assuming that the wax was applied appropriately and that some of the song wasn't seeping through.
He goes
Curiosity
in
killed
and
the
pulls
cat.
it out, though.
Sure.
You know?
But I'm just saying, like, you're assuming that it was all perfectly placed there. You can have wax on your ear without it being perfectly sealed.
Well, there's a lot of obvious, problems with this idea of wax perfectly blocking out all the sound in the first place, but everyone else seemed unaffected. And this one guy reaches in his ear, pulls it out, and then hops off the boat. And I think that also could be me just like, I gotta hear him.
To interrogate the logic of the movie, I've never seen a single Cyclops, so this is bullshit.
So I agree. Yeah. I'm glad we're aligned here.
Yeah. I love picking apart the minutia. I find it very entertaining.
I'm not even saying it's a problem. I just find it very funny because it could that could be what happened. Because the guy was like, I just gotta hear this.
Yeah,
I gotta hear it. He
did.
I see it. I see Odysseus sitting there screaming, "What's that all about? Let me hear this." Maybe he thought he was strong enough to resist it, although it looked pretty desperate when he was doing it.
Maybe he wanted to die.
Could be. Like I said, I mean, what a way to go.
Yeah, I guess so. You're clearly a little more stuck on this part of the movie than I am, but whatever you got, man.
Yeah, all right. All right. Let's talk more about the Cardinals, I guess. But hey, if you're out there listening and you have a different idea of where you would die during Odysseus's journey, let us know.
Sure.
Text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS.
It's the nature of the way in which people can contact us is we don't really have a decision. You could really just let us know anything. Anything that's
a great point.
Shaking around in that little brain of yours. Let
us know anything at 848-48-BIRDS.
Give us your deepest, darkest confessions.
Yep. Send me your social security number and a list of all your fears. Those would be helpful things too.
Yeah.
All right, Hambone. Let's get back to. Would you please stop distracting us? Can we get back to talking about the St. Louis Cardinals?
Fine with me.
Okay, so we talk about this all the time. It's just with a team like this, this is a weekly podcast. We ride the wave of success and failure. Vibes have been more difficult, over the last 2 months. But here we are, Hambone. The Cardinals are back above 500, 65-62, couple games back of a wild card spot. The offense is hitting. The surprise rotation is pitching. They are technically still in the hunt, despite selling at the trade deadline. It is August 19th. They have a big challenge in Chase Burns tonight, but they've looked pretty good. How are you feeling about your St. Louis Cardinals right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. Like we talked about this prior to the trade deadline, right? Like this was totally in the realm of possibility, and we pretty much predicted that it would happen, or that it was highly likely to happen. Their playoff odds have essentially doubled since the playoff, or since the trade deadline. And this, like I thought, kind of how you kicked it off. This is a 500 team. If the kids hit, Nathan, if Jordan Walker and Burleson and Ivan Herrera and so on and so forth, if they hit, I really think that this team has a chance to push themselves into a playoff position. And I don't think it'd be that crazy. I don't really expect much else to happen after that. But, they're in this weak, muddled group of like, are the Padres actually good? I don't know, but they've been really hot recently. Arizona Diamondbacks are going through a really weird thing right now. Is this going to affect the team?
Yeah.
I don't know. Miami, I don't think is a good team. Pittsburgh, I don't think is a good team. So we're talking about leapfrogging a couple of like highly variable teams. And I think we're kind of at the point in the season, like where if the Cardinals just sequence right and a couple of guys stay hot, then it wouldn't surprise me at all if they squeak into the last wild card spot. And then, we enter this kind of chaotic, random, short sample, lottery and see what happens. To be clear, I don't expect any of it to happen, and I'm not really concerned if it does. But the
Yeah.
Cardinals are playing meaningful baseball, and I know for sure that they're talking about in the clubhouse that they're playing meaningful baseball. They really seem to have loosened up offensively post deadline.
Yeah, well, and if you really think about it, like, okay, they sold at the deadline, but what they sold was one starting pitcher. He was good, but it's a one starting pitcher, one reliever who wasn't pitching because he was hurt, and one outfielder who had only played, a handful of a month or so of games, and he'd been fine, but he wasn't like significantly moving the needle. So to your point, at the beginning, it's like this is still basically the same team that played in April, May, June, and July. And at times, that team during those periods looked like a competitive playoff team. The problem is that they're just inconsistent. Like any young team, they go through periods of feast and famine. And right now, maybe feast is too big of a word, but they're playing well again. And it will come down to, like, can they play well for 45 more games and win 3 more games than the San Diego Padres do,
See, and that's what when you break it down like that, I will say there are other like Robbie Ray was a good acquisition. It seems like Fernando Tatis is all of a sudden playing like a lunatic. I don't know if you saw that game that he had last night where he hit 2 homers and robbed a grand slam.
Pretty good. What's the wins above replacement on that game?
Yeah, no kidding. But like Ivan Herrera seems to be figuring it out. Blaze Jordan is having the best, 2 weeks of his very young major league career. We just watched Mason Wynn have an extremely productive offensive night against the Reds. Burleson has been on fire since the All-Star break. Looks like Walker is figuring it out. We have a lot of faith in JJ and his ability to just be a productive player on all sides of the ball. Like, you're talking about a seriously, a large percentage of the team playing well. Any of those guys, because it's baseball, could crater at any point. But if those guys keep playing the way that they're playing right now, or to, in some area around how they're playing right now, they're everybody as good as the Padres, in my opinion. The Padres have a higher ceiling, of course, because Tatis and Machado exist. But, we're watching Burley be one of the best hitters in baseball over the past month. It's kind of
crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're on the point of Burley, a bit of a sidetrack, but did you see the new StatCast metric that came out like today?
All the rage, Nathan.
It's basically like receiving outs above average at first base. Burleson is leading the league.
Yeah.
I found that shocking. I if you had asked me, is he good at like catching the ball at first base, I would have said yes, but I don't think I would have predicted that he is the best in baseball at that.
Yeah. So I think like it's funny because like a good defensive first baseman isn't something you're really thinking about all that often because he's like just catching those balls and like, I don't know, sometimes going to his right. And that's really all about it. But I'm not I guess I share that. I may be a little bit surprised, but he just looks so much more comfortable at the plate. Like all around this season, I have to imagine playing first base is part of that.
Yeah. Again, I'm not surprised that he's considered good at it. It's just like best in baseball. I would not have predicted, and also just that anyone like some guys, he's like some of the guys, I think like Devers, and I'm trying to pull the list from memory right now, but Burleson was at 7 outs above average, and Devers was at like -8 or something like that. Just like
if you've ever watched Devers play,
I know, but it's like crazy. There can be such a gulf at catching the ball at first base. Feels like a fundamental basic.
It doesn't look fun from just the eyeball test. Like I don't want to be doing that. It looks hard.
No, especially if you're in Burleson's shoes where you've got Mason Wynn throwing 105 mile per hour bullets at you,
I saw there was a throw in last night's game, the Tuesday night game, the second of the doubleheader, where Mason Wynn threw he was trying to get a double play, and it was just late, but he threw a very hard throw from second to Burleson. And as the ball was coming in, they showed it in slow motion. Burley was laughing because I think of how, and it hit him right in the chest. It was easy catch, but he was beginning to laugh. And I think it was because of how unbelievably fast that ball was coming in. He was just like,
oh,
holy
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it is hitting me in the glove right now, or else I might be dead.
Yeah, glad I have this glove. Yeah, I know if I was at first base, I'm ending up with a big cartoon ball hole right through my chest.
Yeah, I think you would die.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I got the scoreboard pulled up right in front of me, and it looks like Harper is the worst.
That's right. But he's either tied with or just one worse than Devers, I think. And Jonathan Aranda is also up there. Am I? Okay.
Yeah. He's -8. Devers is -5.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But Burley is +7. Freddie Freeman is +6. And then Nick Kurtz in a kind of a big milieu of average first baseman.
Yeah. So just cool, like I don't know how that is represented in WAR. We talk about, like you mentioned already, first base defense is only so valuable. But when you are considering the overall value of Alec Burleson, like I think it's, helpful to know that he actually might be one of the, at least in this specific skill, is one of the best in baseball.
His defense is never like costing the Cardinals anything.
Yeah.
Which is the best you can say about a first baseman. And again, he's been hitting the snot out of the ball. So even if he was, we'd still be happy about the way he's playing and everything's going.
Well, let's get into it. You've got some numbers on a number of offensive guys here. Where do you want to start?
Well, yeah, I guess like just overall, it's important to say that Burley, Walker, Ivan, and Blaze are all hitting well right now, especially over the past week. The team has a 109 WRC plus in August. If you remember the month previous, the whole team was sitting around 80. So the fact that they've added 30 points-ish to their WRC plus month over month, it's why this all feels so much better all of a sudden. Another thing I wanted to call out, just to specifically talk about Burleson, is that, we've kind of lamented over the past 2 years about his inability to hit left-handed pitchers. Maybe the Cardinals should be more aggressive with pinch hitting him or starting him on the bench against lefties.
And they kind of had been, right? We'd seeing him hit sixth or getting more days off. So like they were making those changes.
They were making those changes, not as aggressive as I would have preferred they made those changes, but they were still acknowledging it. And then over the last 2 months, Burley has an 88 WRC plus against left-handed pitchers and an expected slugging of .455. 88 WRC plus is still below league average, but he was sitting like in the 40s and 50s before that. Yeah. And if you whittle that down to the month of August, which is only 18 days of baseball right now, it's 120 WRC plus. So he's even more recently, he's been hitting 20% over league average against lefties. I'm not saying that Burleson has figured it out, but we are seeing progress where we had not seen movement on these numbers in almost 2 years, almost 2.5 years. So maybe he's just hotter than the sun right now and everything is just easy for him. Maybe he's figured out lefties a little bit. Maybe he's stabilizing that part of his game. I don't really know, but however you slice it, Burley is just
he's
hot.
He's cooking right now, that's for sure. And this is part of that recipe. So I don't know. I think it's too small a sample size to be like, he did it, he solved it. It takes a lot longer than that to cure 2.5 years of bad stats, but certainly take it over the alternative. And if it is the beginning of a trend, he's entering into a new fundamental level of success as an MLB hitter, which is possible. He's older when it comes to like the Cardinals and how you typically think about player development, but he's not an old player. Guys
he's unk on the Cardinals, but that's about
guys get better into their. I mean, there's plenty, not a ton, but plenty of examples of guys who make an adjustment at 32 years old and are a better hitter or whatever it may be. So these changes can happen.
And I wonder how, like just to expand on that thought, like, You see him. He's adding. He's got better patience this year. He's hitting the ball harder. He's swinging harder this year. He's 27 years old. If his game, like, when does his game stop developing? Like, is this a guy that you want to keep around? Is this your first baseman of the future? He's increased his OPS year over year. He's increasing his hard hit. It looks like he's going to have a new season high for homers this year. Obviously, we just talked about his defense at first is more than good. There's a lot to like about Burley as your first baseman. He just keeps kind of getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to have to make a decision at some point on that, and we talk about windows of competitiveness and all that. Like, it'd be curious to see what Heim and the Bloomin' Goons think about Burleson's placement in their long-term planning. I have to imagine right now they're thinking he's a part of it, right?
I would have to think so.
They also haven't traded him. He's been discussed as a trade candidate for a while now, and they have not. So
I think that you probably, maybe it's not perfect, but Weatherholt, Herrera, Burley, Walker, I have to imagine that is the plan going forward. The only question being, do we really want to have Ivan Herrera be a forever DH?
Yeah.
And I guess while we say that, we should also note that Ivan Herrera finally had his first caught stealing of the season against the Reds this week. And I don't know if you noticed that, Nate, or the past couple of days, but once he got the guy out, he asked for the ball and had it authenticated, which I thought was pretty funny.
It's good. At least he's aware.
He's got a sense of humor about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also helps that he's been hitting well recently, so that probably makes the lack of caught stealing go down a little bit smoother.
Yeah. I wonder how much these guys look at like their total. He's like, I'm bad at this, but hey, I'm a slug and catcher. Like, is he aware or not aware? Like, how much do they consider and think about like roster construction and their value as a piece on the team?
I mean,
probably most guys don't have to think about it like that because, like, well, I'm the shortstop and that's valuable. It's like Ivan's a very unique.
Yeah,
set.
I would imagine most players are familiar with WAR, and if you want to understand WAR, like Fangraphs,
what's it good for?
What's it good for? You have to understand the defensive positional value aspect of it. I would think, right? Like,
I would imagine so.
Have
you seen that wins above replacement? Hey, have you heard this? Fire trucks. That wins above replacement has been ported over and calculated into a political framework now.
I have heard this, and
I think it's interesting.
It is interesting. It's just like I don't even want to say oversaturation, but there's just everything is calculated. Everything is a stat. Everything is being maximized.
Everything's computer.
Yeah. And, it's fine.
I think
it's fine.
The concept of here's your replacement level thing, and this is how much better than it makes. Like, I think you can apply that to almost any sort of analysis. I just thought it was interesting that like literally the term wins above replacement is now a political evaluation, So
I was with a group of gentlemen on a bachelor party this weekend. Many of the gentlemen I did not know. And I was trying to, somehow the podcast came up, which, I always love to describe our podcast.
We love that. It's cool.
But I used the word sabermetrics, and I was like, are you, familiar with that? And I got a look of like, you think I don't know what a sabermetric, I was like, is that a like, are people really cracking like, and maybe I need to give everyone a little more credit, but I feel like unless you're a sicko, you're not giving a shit about this, but maybe it's broken into the zeitgeist a little more than I had assumed.
I mean, they talk about it when Chip Carey is talking about, sabermetrics. then you have to recognize that like the average fan is at least aware of it as a concept. I don't think we're like
I'm
it's still this.
I don't think we have like the sacred text over here. It just I would have to assume, unless you're a pretty serious baseball fan, you're not caring about it.
That's caring about it and knowing what it is are two different things.
Okay, that's a fair point.
And knowing the person who you were celebrating and assuming the people that he surrounds himself with is not very surprising to me that this person would be at least aware of sabermetrics.
Yeah, it was a big nerdy crew. Lots of
essentially what I was saying.
Yeah. Our people.
Yeah. All right, you have put together a little dive here on Jordan Walker, and I would like for you to share this.
So I felt like we hadn't sit down and talked about Jordan Walker, like other than just being like, he do be smashing that ball.
He do be.
So I just wanted to check in a little bit. And Jordan Walker, he's had a pretty nice little week and a half, 2 weeks here. He's gotten it back into his power after having that power drought. And he's been very impressive. What's been most impressive is that over the past 2 months, he's kept his K rate under 20%, which is, if you remember watching him the past 3 years, is absolutely incredible.
That is a remarkable fact. It's technically a small sample size, but if you had asked me, will Jordan Walker over any sample size ever maintain a strikeout rate under 20%, I would have said probably not. And I wouldn't have even said that's like, an inherently bad thing or like a root cause of a problem. The fact that 2 months, wild.
It's not bad. It's something. I think what we're seeing is just him progressing over time, and we're seeing him constantly make these adjustments to his game. He's striking out less. We got a little bit of a power outage along with that, but we're seeing the power come back now. And I think that I feel pretty good about, we've seen enough Jordan Walker at this point to know that the power is just always going to come back. He just has that ability. And while I was kind of digging around on this, I found another thing that I thought was really illustrative of why he's found himself where he is this year. It's probably no secret to anybody listening to us talk right now is that Jordan Walker has seen 1 billion sliders since joining Major League Baseball.
Might be an understatement.
In 2024, he carried a 75 WRC plus against them with a 30% K rate. In 25 against sliders, he had a 53 WRC plus with about the same K rate, striking out 30% of the time on that pitch. In 2026, Nate, the year that we find ourselves in right now, he has a 118 WRC plus on the slider and a strikeout rate around 20%. He has completely solved the slider problem. And I think you watch the game, he can it doesn't happen all the time, but he's laying off that low and outside thing, which I feel like we're going to hear about Jordan Walker until he retires. But he's laying off that low and outside slider. When the slider is in the zone, he's crushing it.
Yeah.
For a 1.8, that's 18% above league average performance against that. So just kind of amazing. We're seeing him transform, in the middle of the season.
You can almost predict how his day is going to go based off of how he treats the low and outside slider.
Yeah.
Because we certainly, absolutely, the data proves it. The eye test proves it. We've seen him take that so much better than he ever has. But you're right. He will also he'll see that bad swing, and it's usually those where you're like, it's today was not a good day,
But, you're seeing he's more than doubled season over season his performance against the slider. And, I think if you look at that, where the strikeout numbers are going, how he's hitting right now, I think that WRC plus is only going to go up. Just like, 100-year contract. Let's go. Like there's so many, I can't wait for this season to be over and to be able to look back and we'll keep talking about the amazing things he's done this year. But he has turned himself into one of the better hitters in baseball. And from where we were, God, I wish I was hammering the over, but
I know, right? I'm hammering it. I'm hammering that over. I'm slamming that under left and right, and I just didn't do it at all on old J Dubs.
We really shat the bed on that one, Nathan.
We shit all over ourselves.
Shit everywhere.
Shit everywhere. What this gives me confidence in is that I think you said it. We knew the power was always going to be there. But what this is doing for me is confirming that this batting average seems to be real. Will he carry a near 300 batting average? Probably not. His expected batting average for the season right now is 277. But he went 5 for 9 on the doubleheader, and he makes great contact now, and so I think that number will likely fluctuate year over year on how he manages those strikeouts. But he's certainly looking like a good batting average, high power guy, which is like the unicorn. There's like 3 guys that do that.
He's approaching, he's at 24 homers right now. What did we say? We got about 45 games left. I think he's going to get to that 30 home run mark.
I know. It is technically at risk. He just went a pretty long period, but we know it comes in bunches for him. So we could be in a week from now, we could be looking at 27, and that's going to feel quite different,
And obviously I want those big round numbers. 20 stolen bases would be great, which he's at 17 right now. But really, we've just seen so much progress this year.
Yeah.
That
he's
like
24.
I said, 100-year contract. We were just talking about Alec Burleson still improving at 27. Like, who knows what's going to happen over the next 2-3 years with Jordan Walker?
Yeah. 100-year contract. Huh? What am I doing today?
He's going to die in that uniform.
All right. So good dive, Ben. What else you want to dig in on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that all of those good offensive numbers we just talked about, and I feel like it's getting boring to talk about at this point in the season. But another really solid turn through the rotation for your Birdnals. Obviously, we had a little bit of a weird start from Hunter Dobbins. We had a little bit of a weird start from Quinn Matthews. Not being the most efficient walking people, but the ERAs are low across the board.
It's so strange, man.
Kyle Leahy is one of the best pitchers in MLB over the past month.
And so we've had him on the show before. I like his writing. I trust his opinion on pitching. And I went and looked at Nick Pollock's pitcher rankings for this week. I was like, where are these Cardinals? And the highest ranked was Hunter Dobbins at 84. And none of the rest were in the top 100. Now, again, he's looking at it from a fantasy perspective, which overvalues strikeouts. But the league overvalues those are your best pitchers, are the ones who also strike out guys. And on every single one of them, he's just I don't understand it and I don't trust it.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because that's kind of been our take too, maybe a little more trusting, but I don't understand it is how I have felt about these guys for a while now.
I don't care to understand it is the new kind of thing that I've it's my new evolution of understanding this pitching staff, because the fact of the matter is we are 3/4 away through the season and they have continued to do it. We've talked about the location metrics that some of these guys have been really good at. But I think it comes down to defense and weak contact. And it's just a fact of modern metrics is that they don't think that that's sustainable. And maybe over a 3 or 5 year period, it isn't. But I'm watching it every day with my own eyes. And so far,
they just keep getting it done.
It's sustainable.
I know. Palante, who we've given a lot of shit to, we have, very, very directly said this guy should be in the bullpen at best. And he's doing it. He keeps going up there and going 6 innings with, overall good results. Kyle Leahy, we've talked McGreevy. there's at least some stuff with Location Plus that kind of, looks at like maybe he's doing something special. But like none of these guys look like they're doing anything great other than getting through 6 innings without allowing a ton of runs over and over and over. It's remarkable.
Yeah, I think we've seen that Dobbins might have a little more swing and miss than these other
Yeah.
guys. Obviously, we've seen flashes of that with Liberatore. We saw Quinn Matthews strikeout was his first 4 batters
4 in a
in
row.
that
Yeah, that was
in
fun.
that game. So like some of these guys, there's a little more swing and miss, and obviously we just like to see that a little bit more. But you cannot argue. It is a fact of 2026 that Leahy, Palante, and McGreevy have been good big league pitchers, effective major league pitchers. Will that sustain?
And you've called out too, it was a brief discussion in the Birdscord as well, is that like maybe it's luck, maybe it's because everyone's young, but there have been so few, knocking on wood, injuries from this pitching staff across the board too. It's like there's some sort of magic happening here around the Cardinals, and I don't know. It could just be as simple as none of these guys throw super hard, so they don't have the like harsh deliveries and things like that. The whole game plan is around soft contact, so the whole thing requires less whip and less like arm whip and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It just results in less injuries, but or there's some secret preconditioning stuff,
Well, either way, we are very close, and I might be jinxing it. We are very close to 2 full seasons with no starting pitcher IL stints, which is that's just not how baseball
at
works.
all. Is it? Are you sure it's 100?
I am quite sure that we have not had a single IL stint by a starting pitcher in the major league rotation all of last year and all of this year. I am more than happy to be wrong. Yeah. Please, I could see your little eyeballs Googling right now.
Oh, I got to check that AI overview. Of course, I won't do any other research. I'll just read the first couple sentences.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna move the subject, and we can I'll vamp for a little bit while you do your Googling. And I'm sure somebody is screaming at their car stereo about how wrong I am right now. But I thought it would be fun to bring up the fact, I feel like we haven't mentioned this in a while, is that Riley O'Brien has locked back into being one of the best closers in baseball. And I think, I don't really know what to say about this other than when it's working, it's really, really working. When he's not locating the ball, it's extremely frustrating to watch. But it comes down to the fact that he has a 100-mile-an-hour sinker and a ridiculous slider. And when that's all working, when that's all in shape, he's unhittable. I don't know what that means for him and the future of the Cardinals. I'm not even sure how strongly I feel about if the Cardinals should have kept him or not. But he's slotted right back into being one of the best in baseball. He is arguably the best in baseball since the All-Star break. And if the Cardinals are going to make a little push to the playoffs, that final wild card, having a rock-solid Riley O'Brien for the remainder of the year is a huge feather in their cap to make that happen. All right, Nate, what'd you find?
Well, classic. It says, yes, they have had starting pitcher IL stints. You scroll down and it's Max Ragic. So not a starter.
No.
You might, Hambone, it's pointing to Hunter Dobbins. So that's technically, yes, IL stint from a starter. But our near perfect AI overlords here, who I never doubt, and I think are worth it every time, are saying there was, I think you're right. It's backing you up. So outside of like, Hunter Dobbins is one, but depending on how you count that, and then obviously Richard Fitz, would be another one. But when you're saying like, when we came into the season, this is our starting rotation, I'm not finding anything immediately.
Yeah. Also, those were pieces that we got from another org that came battered and bruised. Not, I would argue that that's splitting hairs and maybe being
I'm
too
not
fine.
saying that. I agree with you. I'm not saying those. I think your thesis would not include a guy like Hunter Dobbins.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, for a very technical standpoint, like, he's been on the IL.
And whether it's random acts clustering randomly or the baseball gods have shone brightly on the Cardinals for whatever reason, it's becoming a thing that's like insane. This just does not happen.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious. Like, I would love to know more. I know that there's been chatter like on the broadcast, and some of the writers have talked about like, oh, well, they've got individualized training plans, and yet, well, sure, of course they do. There's got to be something in there.
We're of course we're absorbing baby souls in the clubhouse.
Right. They've grown a hybrid pineapple that grows cells at a rate we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And you talked about like that they're soft thrown guys. I mean,
you at least 2 or 3 babies every day.
I feel like you got to lock that one in better before you debut it on the pod.
I've said this before. Maybe not on the pod, but like one of my biggest regrets right now is that I have a really shitty RFK Jr. impression, but I think a perfectly placed RFK Jr. impression is very funny. And I try it all the time, and it just, I know it's bad. I know it's a bad impression, but imagine if right there I had just done a really good RFK Jr. impression about eating babies and special pineapples. I think it would have fucking smashed.
I often think that if you were better, things would be different.
Same, actually. Hard to improve on this, though. Wow.
Yeah, that was
also
it's
me.
Really
I'm Odysseus.
That's also good. It's good and it's funny.
I'm from Boston. It's me, Odysseus. Hey, where's my wife? All right. Moving on.
You think that's Boston?
Boston.
Hey, I just want to land the plane. I just wanted to say one thing, Nate. Can I?
What?
You were talking about all these guys don't throw very hard.
Yeah.
Palante throws hard and weird.
Yeah, you're right.
If anybody's wrong. That shoulder, you'd think that shoulder would be falling off.
I wasn't wrong, but yeah, is it the over the top delivery? Is that like a safer delivery than I don't know.
The Guardians, they do that like short arm thing that was popular there for a while. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows.
Who could know?
It seems like the Cardinals have that secret tech we were talking about earlier. They got something figured out.
Reinsert the RFK Jr. impression about eating babies and pineapples.
We're all laughing.
It's killing. Dude, people are loving it. It's killing right now.
All right. That's all I got, Nate.
All right. We want to touch on down on the farm here a little bit more, right? Yeah. So we mentioned VS2 earlier.
We did.
And my new platform I'm running on.
Yeah.
So how's he doing? We've not heard much about old Victor Scott.
No. And I've been waiting for something to happen to bring him up. And something's finally starting to happen. He's starting to hit the ball. Over the last 20 games at AAA, he has a 117 WRC plus, Nathan. This is like the first real progress he's made in quite some time. He's walking. He's not striking out a ton, or nothing crazy. He's got a 303 batting average. He's got a couple of doinks over that same time. He is stealing his bases because he's unbelievably fast. But we can assume he's playing good defense down there. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know. Like, Nathan Church hasn't been great in center field. Obviously, he has his moments, and I'd rather take what he was giving us than what VS2 was giving us.
Yeah.
But I think it's a legitimate question. Like, how hot do you need Victor Scott to be to bring him back up? We always talked about, like, if he could just hit a little bit, the defense is so plus that you can rock him with even a 90 WRC plus in the bigs.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that decision is a 2026 decision or a spring training 2027 decision?
I don't know. I'm sure he's sitting there in AAA like, don't call me up. I don't want to be squished and my head popped into space.
Well, I'm sure he'll hear that we are working towards the legislation to save his head.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I imagine it was so rough there for a while at MLB level for Victor that they're going to want to see extended success at AAA before doing that again. It wouldn't surprise me if he finishes out the AAA season.
Yeah.
And maybe if it was continued successfully all the way through the end, he comes back up and finishes the club with the big league. I think that would be finishes the season with the big league club.
There we go.
And I got it right the first time. And that would be a fun way to end it. But I'd be very surprised, especially about just how we've seen them handling these situations now. They're like, oh, look, 2 weeks, he's good. He's back, baby, against AAA pitching, which is good, but it's not MLB pitching.
I think the Cardinals, they have been steadfast around, like, it's not like, oh, you had this many hits in this many days. It's, oh, the process is looking a lot better. Yeah. And, I'm not going to say I've sat and watched all these at-bats, but the results are looking good, which you would assume the process is following that. And I wonder, like, because of where he's at in the development life cycle, like, would he be the first one brought up when rosters expand? He also, like, if the Cardinals are in a position that the wild card is even remotely possible, he's the type of guy that you can bring in late in games for defense. You can bring in late in games to steal a base. You can bring him late in games to drop down a bunt, those types of things. I wonder. But really, I'm just glad to see, because it had been an extended time for him not having success at all. I'm very happy that he is having a little bit of fun right now.
Yeah, the upside of Victor Scott is the ideal placement on this team. Imagine how good this team would feel with him at center, even with that 90 WRC plus. It's how we feel about Mason Wynn, who had a great game last night, by the way. That was very fun, and we're all still hopeful of his offensive upside, but we have to be realistic about that fact at this point. But we're all like, Wynn is puts together a competent at bat. Isn't the best, but it's competitive, and he's the best shortstop in baseball, so it's great.
Yeah,
I think we'd be fine with Victor Scott at that level of. He doesn't look lost at the MLB level.
No.
And he's the best center field. We could deal with that, especially if this lineup looks as deep as it might look now with Baez up and the rest of the team hitting.
Yeah, and having him and Wynn, as you mentioned, and JJ up the middle, it's like as good of a defensive up the middle as you could possibly think of. Like, truly incredible.
Yep. All right. We also are seeing a little bit from Jurrangelo Cijntje. We have not heard that name very much this year, at least in a positive light. So it's good to see some success.
Yeah, he got promoted to AAA a few weeks ago, and got his bell rung in his first 2 starts, and he's settling down a little bit. But in his last start, he was able to go 6 1/3. He struck out 11 batters, only gave up 1 walk and 2 hits. Really, really great. Like, the first time he's really popped at the AAA level. He did get called out of that game with an apparent hamstring injury. He is currently scheduled to start his next game. This guy, I think, like, once you have this kind of sustained success at AAA or even a good couple of moments, I feel like he's knocking on the door. I would be a little surprised if we saw him in 26. But I think that it makes sense that he'll be knocking on the door going into 27, and seeing him succeed like this at AAA is obviously really encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think, even though we just spent the whole thing talking about the success of the MLB rotation, I think we are going to go into 27 with several spots considered under competition, and him and Quinn Matthews and Dobbins and probably Richard Fitz and all, there's going to be a lot of guys vying for that spot, but it would not surprise me if Cijntje is part of that conversation. We should all be excited if that's the fact.
All right, let's talk about two really fun, really young guys really quick. Rainiel Rodriguez, who we've been talking about a lot. He is currently rocking an OPS of 1,169. Nice. Over his last 20 games. Over that same time period, he only has 7 Ks. He's got 5 homers. He's been rotating at first a couple of times a week. Obviously still playing catcher, popping in at DH. But the kid is on fire right now.
Yeah.
It is next level. And again, he's only been at AA for a minute and he's already
crushing.
One of the better hitters there. Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing him now in top 10 prospect lists around baseball, not just like obviously Cardinals. He's now like top prospect in Cardinal rankings, but we're seeing him top 10 across the game. There only a few guys like, your Jesus Mates and your Leo DeVries who are shortstops, which is always going to give them some more prospect clout. But he's in that class of these like 19-year-olds that are raking, and he's hitting better, I think, than all those guys. It's just they have a little bit more of a track record and again play shortstop. If he keeps this up, he is on track for the top prospect in baseball anytime now. And it wouldn't surprise me if some guys ranking platforms start to put him just there now.
Something interesting that I stumbled across on social media was Robert Cerfolio talking about the idea that, they're working in time at first base to give him some positional flexibility and that they might be working him other places to give him more positional
I've been waiting
flexibility.
for it. It's like, apparently he can stick at catcher, and that is a credit to him. But how many times have we seen this in MLB history where a guy comes up as a catcher because like the best players always play the hardest positions and they finally say, look, his bat is so good, we need him standing in right fielder. Bryce Harper came up as a catcher, like it's not uncommon. It's like catcher, shortstop, center fielder, and then they get moved into something else that is better for their bat or their legs or whatever it might be. Like, it's fun to imagine him as a catcher because you love that. But that does typically put a little bit of a cap on like the offensive output. I'm personally more excited about him as a right fielder or whatever it may be. I want him playing 162 games,
I want to know if he can play third base.
Right?
If
he's a good catcher, like you'd think maybe he has the hands. He's so young. He's not like, he's a big guy, but not like a lumbering guy,
right.
So Blaze Jordan doesn't look like a third baseman. He's over there doing okay.
Yeah. I know some people have been frustrated with his third base play, but I think he's been fine. He's fine.
Yeah,
and he's hitting right now, which makes it all better.
I do get the frustration.
It's something to dream on. We'll, I'd love to see him. If he can play anywhere else in the infield other than first base, then you might have a real serious talent here. He already is a serious talent.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of young people, another extremely young person, Trevor Condon, makes his pro debut the other day. Racks up his 2 first hits at AWOL. And the Condon era has begun, Nathan. We are.
Yeah.
He is only a little bit younger than Rainiel Rodriguez, which is also crazy. But young kid, we got him at, he's 17, something like that. And
he was 17 I don't know when he turns 18.
Yeah.
It could even be now or soon, but yeah, very, very young. And this type of guy, the normal progression would be like, this is a 3 to 4 year sort of thing. We shouldn't expect him.
No.
He doesn't have the typical set of skills that you would think would make him be like a 19-year-old who's playing at AA or knocking on the door of MLB. That's not a discredit to him. That it's just, most 17-year-olds are like, yeah, we'll see you in 5 years. And that's an okay thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe, it'd be fun. But he's not like a 17-year-old monster,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, 5'11", 178. Obviously,
Yeah.
still room to grow. But again, first game, 2 hits, stolen base. We're off. We're doing it.
Yeah. Hooray. All right. Well, that's going to wrap this first part of the episode. We're going to talk about the upcoming games, a little bit of league news, and of course, play a little game. But before we do that, we want to remind our listeners that the show is listener supported on Patreon, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. If you liked the show and want to show us your support directly, the show is ad free. We would really appreciate it if you would check out the Patreon. Subscribers at any level get access to our private Discord server, Birdscord. We talk about it all the time. It's a great place to hang, keep up with Cardinal news, and talk to other Cardinal fans and listeners of the show. Other ways to help out the podcast is to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. And of course, tell your friends, tell your family. We are in the home stretch of the season now. Kind of crazy to say, but probably right now people are starting to check in, especially if the Cardinals continue to play well. So, make a little recommendation. We appreciate it. Hambone, where else can people find us online?
We are on social media. You can find us over at Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. You can watch this episode on YouTube if you're one of those. Hi, I'm looking at you right now. What up? You can find all of the podcast information, t-shirts, and more, Nathan, at talkingaboutbirds.com. Of course, you can email us at talkaboutbirds@gmail.com, and you can call us and leave a voicemail or send a text message to 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
848-48-BIRDS. All right, Hambone. The Cardinals go to Philly. This is a wild card, meaningful game. We've been talking about the Padres and the Diamondbacks, but the Phillies are only one game up on the second wild card spot. It is not a lock. I think most of us probably agree that they are a good team who will likely be one of the 3 in that wild card spot. But by the numbers, Cardinals are 4 games back from those guys. So we have 3 against them right now. What are the pitching matchups that we're going to see?
Yeah, it's, of course, never easy when you face the Phils. It's going to be the Jesus Lizard, Jesus Luzardo, against Hunter Dobbins on Friday night. Saturday, we have Andrew Painter again against Andre Palante. Andrew Painter, Andre Palante. Wow. And then Sunday, Christopher Sanchez and our ace, the rubber match, Kyle Leahy, which I'm fine with and is totally cool with me, and I have the utmost confidence. Of course, Christopher Sanchez is one of the best pitchers in baseball. The same is true for Jesus Luzardo. Andrew Painter might become one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think we saw a pretty good performance from him. I mean, we saw the Phillies pretty recently. We know what this team is.
Yeah.
They're really good. Luis Arias has been a really solid pickup for them, and he's been playing well. This will be tough. They're good.
You know what we've learned today, though? Make them throw it to first.
Make them throw. Oh, yeah. Well, Bryce Harper is not a first baseman right now.
Oh, yeah. They moved him out.
He was so bad, they sent him back to right field.
Yeah.
And I remember in that last series, he looked very slow out there.
I think he's just sort of old man slugger now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I
was there when he came up.
Does
that mean we're slow?
I was there when John Lackey choked him out. What am I thinking of?
Jonathan Papelbon.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Why can I call that up so quickly? I don't know.
Classic. All right. Yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say about the Phillies. We have recently talked about them, recently played them. This will be a tough series. Pitching match. I mean, they're a good team,
But
if the Cardinals
they're good.
If the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs, they have to be able to beat teams like this, or at least be competitive. So we'll see.
Right.
But it's fun to watch them play other good teams. After that, it's talking about other birds time, Hambone.
Thank God.
I know. The Orioles are coming to St. Louis. So what are the pitching matchups with these other birds, these orange and black birds?
Yeah, the Orioles, who are in last place in their division, although their records are very funnily similar to the
I was
Cardinals. They're
gonna
very close.
say, yeah, they're like they are in last place in their division, but they are considered in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
Also because of how skewed the AL is right now.
AL sucks this year. All right, on Tuesday night, we're going to have Chris Bassett going against Matthew Liberatore. Wednesday, Kyle Bradish and Michael McGreevy. And then Thursday, we have Trevor Rogers against Hunter Dobbins. The Orioles haven't been great. Their pitching hasn't been great. Their offense really hasn't been great. I mean, really, funny enough, their best player all season has been Pete Alonso, the big scary man himself.
He's a big tough guy. Well, the Mets are doing something. He'll be considering his Hall of Fame career or whatever the thing is that he said to them. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember that? He's like,
yeah,
well, you guys.
I mean, you delivered it so well that I thought I was on the podcast with Pete Alonso, so it tripped me up.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, they're a weird team. It's like that lineup: Jackson Holliday, Pete Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Beavers. Those are all guys that we know. Gunnar is having another weird year. He's been playing better as of late, and he can always hit a bomb, but it's been a pretty bad year for him overall. Jackson Holliday's been playing okay, but there's starting to be some real, he's only 22, but he's been in the league for several years now and still hasn't really done it yet. So there was even talk at the trade deadline that the Orioles were considering moving on from him, and potentially trading him.
I think and again, Jackson Holliday has plenty of time to turn it around. Gunnar Henderson, plenty of time to turn it around. Dylan Beavers, huge question mark. Kobe Mayo, huge question mark. Colton Cowser, big question mark. I know they have some young prospects that are injured right now, like Westberg, who could be pretty good. Basayo, who could be pretty good. But I'm almost I'm getting close to saying that the rebuild was a total flop. Unless four of those guys turn it around next year, they already shipped out Adley Rutschman, who is supposed to be the face of this all. I don't know. It's weird. They dropped the ball.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that there was a period where it was how these guys can't fail. Look at this prospect list. There's that similar thing from the White Sox from 5 years ago where people look at this team, they cannot fail, and then they collapsed and became the worst team in baseball.
Record-setting worst team in baseball.
Yeah, I was gonna say worst team in baseball history. They're really looking like that. Yeah,
so
it's tough.
I like the Cardinals odds in this. I like the pitching matchup, and just don't let the polar bear beat you.
Yeah, basically. All right. Well, so a blend here. Good series, series against a good team, a series against a mid team. Hopefully, if the Cardinals can play well, we'll be talking again about the playoff hunt next week.
Hell yeah.
Hambone. Let's get into some league news. A couple strange ones.
Yeah, they're all kind of weird this week. With Ketel Marte absent, the Diamondbacks are offering a few details, just saying, I hope he's okay. As of this recording, so if you don't know, he just has not shown up to play baseball for the past couple of days. And as of this moment in time, we don't know why. There's been reported friction between him and the Diamondbacks for the last year or so. But that's only speculating wildly. We have no idea.
Well, it was also just reported he is probably going back to Arizona for an MRI. So it's there's sort of two things going on. It's he might be hurt, but at the end of the day, he also didn't show up to the game.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been paying a lot of attention to MLB over the last handful of years is this isn't the first Ketel Marte story. He has gone off on the Diamondbacks. He's been benched for being upset about things like, he is a guy that is by all accounts is a struggle to deal with, you know. So you don't normally hear about guys just not showing up to games though. So it'll be really curious to see how the Diamondbacks handle this, assuming he is healthy and all things are good in that regard.
Yeah.
It makes you think of what was the Cardinal, the far smaller stakes, because it was a Yairo Munoz who just like
Oh
didn't
yeah.
show.
Just didn't report.
Totally AWOL. And then a couple of years later, signed with like the White Sox or something, and played a few games at the in MLB, which felt like, can you do that? Can you just like bail on a team and then come back with a different team later? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I assume there was some release of contract at some point, but yeah, crazy for a star of his level, and also the fact that the Diamondbacks are in it. That's the part that, because his problems with them in the past have been related to competitiveness. So the fact that they're in it and he's one of their best players, he's not having the best year, but he's still one of their better players, is shocking.
Yeah, it's and hopefully everybody's okay and there's nothing to be concerned with, but it is very weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. The MLB returned to the Field of Dreams game that was streamed on Netflix, setting a record low for viewership on the Field of Dreams game, which I guess should be surprising to no one. They didn't even sell out all the tickets. There were 8,000 some odd total tickets, and they sold about 7,000. And I don't know if I have much of an opinion other than like the thing that we've said 1,000 times is like limiting viewership to these special one-off events is very stupid. But interesting. We've had a lot of stories about how baseball viewership is up, and then Netflix drops the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of just like Field of Dreams. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, this is the third one they've done of this,
Right.
So at some point, like the novelty of it, I think wears off, and then because I think, it didn't sell out the game itself. So that's some indicator that doesn't really matter where it was broadcast. There's just less overall interest in doing it. But if they were expecting anything else from a viewership standpoint, then they're continue to be as naive about this whole thing as we believe them to be, because you took it off of a national broadcast and put it behind a paywall on a very specific streaming platform that, yes, is very popular, but like, I don't have Netflix. I'm one of the biggest baseball fans in the world. I couldn't watch it even if I wanted to,
Yeah.
So I
didn't even
maybe
try.
1.6. Yeah. Honestly, I didn't even really know it was happening. I knew there was a Field of Dreams game happening at some point, because I saw all the like MLB. You'd open up the MLB app and it'd be like a guy in a cornfield. I was like, oh yeah, this is happening again. But I made no personal effort to really see what day it was happening and all of that. So that's more on me, because I just don't really. I really liked the oh my God. Cardinals played at the old Negro League Stadium. Something with an R. I hate that I can't pull the name right now. That one I thought was fascinating and awesome and like a good representation of baseball history. But like a third version of us remembering a movie that we all really like, like, all right, I'm a little less, give me an Angels in the outfield. Give me an Angels in the outfield night or a Sandlot game.
To bop around to the various famous baseball movies is an interesting idea.
Yeah,
we'll add that to the platform. MLB owners unanimously approved the sale of the San Diego Padres to husband and wife team Jose Feliciano and Kwanzaa Jones. So it is that is officially over. Kind of interesting for this to happen.
Yeah.
Mid-season. I mean, Preller was still doing Preller things at the deadline. Obviously, this was mid-flight. Be very curious to see what happens. I kind of hope they just keep Preller around and keep kind of the good vibes going. Like San Diego Padres have one of the best attendance in all of baseball. So we'll see. But kind of big news.
I don't know anything about this new ownership group. I just hope that they care about the game and care about the product they put on the field, and it's not a line item in their real estate business. So I guess I'm sure there's probably more reporting and more indication of what this is. But that's my take on it. We'll see.
Yeah, speaking of line items and shady businesses, let's move on to the final story that we have here. The Dodgers' principal owner, Mark Walter, is under federal scrutiny. And if you do not see this, he just sold the Lakers in like 48 hours for $12 billion. The sale came amid a federal probe into Walter's businesses. He netted a huge payday, like I said, 12 something billion dollars, which he will apply toward paying down debts at two troubled Delaware life insurancers that he owns that are under federal scrutiny. There is a lot of reporting on, is this going to affect the Dodgers? Is he going to have to sell the Dodger, at least sell his stake in this company? I don't know how much you've read about this, Nate, but I didn't really know much about Mark Walter, and I think that he was trying to keep it this way. But once you start kind of connecting the dots, you're like, how did he make enough money to own the Dodgers, the Lakers? He owns a football club in Europe. He owns apparently the National Women's Hockey League. He's got a lot of ownership stakes and not a lot of breadcrumb trails to how he made the money to do all this. It's very interesting.
I personally find it very hard to believe that this man would be participating in anything uncouth. I have it on good authority that all of our billionaires are. They're job creators, Hambone. So
yeah,
this is, I'm assuming, some smear campaign, and surely he hasn't done something so bad that he is $12+ billion in the hole.
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, as somebody who I know who is well over $900 billion in debt, I'm sure that you can relate to this guy.
No, we didn't make it. I believe I am somewhere. It was like $390 billion in debt. After a string of bad bets, but I'm always slamming that over. And I am on a payment plan. Okay, the Heininger family is indebted to the Hill family of $1 a year for 390 billion years. It's due on Christmas, and I intend to pay. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that you stated that so that everyone's on the same page. Again, I guess
I just really thought all those guys were going to hit home runs every single at bat while we were there in spring training.
Yeah, I was there. I remember. Yeah, I guess I'll just add that, if you are praying for the end of the Dodgers, I don't really think that this is going to be it. But it's definitely a big black eye, and I'll be curious to see what happens.
No, some other snake will roll in to fill the hole. Did you see the Jeff Passan conversation about the Dodgers and how they're basically a Shohei Ohtani shell organization at this point?
Yeah.
They surpassed they were the first baseball team to surpass $1 billion in revenue last year, and they're on pace to do it again.
And this guy still had to sell the Lakers to.
I know.
Debts.
Sounds like he's got, but the Dodgers will just keep rolling. They'll do it. They'll all eat each other, and someone else will come out on top.
Yeah. All right, Nady, that's all I got for league news this week.
All right, Hambone. Well, I have exciting news for you. Through advanced technology and a little bit of trickery on my own part, I have managed to capture the card shark before he could do anything. All right. Wow. So no more sneaking up on you and me, or at least not today. But we still have to feed him, of course. So we're bringing back another. We're bringing back another game, another edition.
It really felt like a bit
of Card Shark.
You just not feel like doing the thing?
What? No, I captured the. What do you mean not doing the thing? I've captured the Card Shark.
Okay.
And he's now my. And you know what? If you're not nice to me, we'll see what happens.
Everybody hit us up on the voice line. Was this a better version of the bit, or did we like it the old way?
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. All right. So if you're new to the show, the way this game works is I've just opened, you might have heard the crinkling, a fresh pack of Topps 2026 Series 1. I'm going to pull the cards. I'm going to rip this pack, and I'm going to say the name of the player on the card. And Hambone has to say their team name, or sorry, their what team they're on and what position they play. So we'll go ahead and start this off. We've got Masataka Yoshida.
Masataka Yoshida is a DH and right fielder, I guess, for your Boston Red Sox.
That's right. They got him as an outfielder there. You can see the card if you're looking on the screen.
What a swing. Really thought he'd be a better player.
Everyone did. Yeah. All right. Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh, the wet guy himself.
He is the wet guy. We'll be seeing him this. Oh.
This is my wife's least favorite player. Cannot stand him.
Okay.
He is a, I guess, just outfielder for your Philadelphia Phillies.
I know. I almost gave it away there for you by saying we'll be seeing him this weekend. He's been having a bit of a breakout year, although in a major slump recently.
Probably not wet enough.
So probably not wet enough. Camilo Doval.
Camilo Doval.
Camilo.
Where is he right now? I know he got traded to the Yankees last trade deadline. Is he still there? I think he might be. I'm going to say New York Yankees relief pitcher.
He is depicted on the card. This is early season, so this is Series 1. I do believe he's traded at the deadline. I'm also struggling to remember it. It might be the Guardians is what I'm thinking right now. But I award it if you get it right what he is depicted on the card, which is
he was traded to the Pirates at the deadline.
Pirates. Okay. Yeah, because they also got Luke Weaver.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anthony Seigler or Siegler.
Anthony Seigler. Don't know this guy.
Here we go.
Anthony Seigler. Anthony Seigler really sounds like utility field infielder type of name. Just based purely on vibes. I'm gonna say he is a utility fielder for a team I don't watch very often. The Nationals.
No, though you are half right. He is a second baseman, or at least listed as a second baseman. He is on the Brewers.
Brewers.
Yep.
God, that's so fun. I feel like all right.
Yeah. All right. Sean Burke.
Sean Burke. I just saw his team. I also caught a White Sox game while I was in Chicago. He is the a starting pitcher for your White Sox.
You're right. Major breakout this year. We didn't even talk about that. You were at the Josh Baez game. I can't believe you didn't bring it up when we were talking about it.
I was at the Baez game, surrounded by Cubs fans, and it was sweet.
Yeah, I cannot believe you didn't. I forgot about it, and you didn't bring it up when we were talking about it. What a game to be at.
It's probably the best game I've ever been to in real life.
It's got to have been.
That third home run, I mean, people were screaming their heads off. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Did you get your Camptown shake at the White Sox game?
No.
Okay, we got to do this next week.
I was so mad. I'll just really quickly, I was like, hey, Steven, let's go get, I'm not in the mood.
What? That is the least Steven thing I've ever heard.
Said he was in the mood. So afterwards, we went to Chinatown and got some dumplings, and then went to this.
That sounds like Steven.
Went to this dessert restaurant. That was all mangoes. It was all mango everything.
I love mangoes.
So he made up for it, but he just wasn't in the mood. And it was his bachelor party, so I'm not going to force it.
Yeah. All right.
But I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
All right, we're moving on, but I'm also disappointed in you. Really, you should have strong-armed him. You're bigger than him.
That's true.
Cal Raleigh.
Ugh, big dumper. More like just the big shit. The season he's having.
Yeah, seriously.
Catcher, Mariners.
Yep. All right, Troy Melton.
I know Troy Melton.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you're not right on top of this one.
Why can't I think of who he is, though? I know that name, but it's not coming to me. I'm a relief pitcher, Dodgers.
No, he is a starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers.
It.
Real breakout. You may remember he broke out in the playoffs last year.
He was
He's
the
a
guy that's
starter
throwing like 100 miles per
100.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah, take a look at his season so far, Hambone. The strikeouts aren't there, but he's at like approaching 100 innings, sub 2 ERA, sub 1 WHIP. Like
wow.
He's good.
I'm not on the Troy Melton train. I apologize.
Not accepted. Talking about Matthew Boyd.
Matthew Boyd, starting pitcher for your Chicago Cubbies.
Talking about Boyds.
Also, victim to Joshua Baez's reign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. It turns out maybe Josh Baez can just hit Matthew Boyd.
we were having, and I'm sure everybody was having this conversation, but at the game, we were like, there's no way they can let Boyd face him a third time, right?
Yeah. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
It almost makes you think they were like, let him go out there to like get one out, get him out.
Yeah.
All right. A couple more. Matt McClain.
We'll just call him an infielder for the Red Stockings in Cincinnati.
Yes. Wait, Red Stock. Yeah. Not to be confused with the Red Sox, of course.
Two different teams. Baseball is good because we have so many teams with Sox in the name.
That is why it is good.
Yes.
All right. Finally, the shiny Francisco Lindor.
Frankie Lindor, shortstop for your New York Mets. Other than Troy Melton, that was a very... Oh, no, Siegler. I got Siegler wrong. So what was Siegler's name again?
Anthony Siegler.
Anthony. I at least... Melton was somewhere in my brain, but Siegler... Never heard of you, pal. Apparently, he was traded to the Red Sox from the Brewers.
Maybe that's why.
And seems to be playing out there. Seems to be playing in MLB right now.
The name was familiar, but I wouldn't have been able to pull it up. Troy Melton, I would have known. I've been following him, but I wouldn't have gotten Siegler or whatever. I know. So,
well,
all right, Hambone. Well, you got two wrong, but I think you've sated my my little pet here. We'll see what happens. But that's gonna do it for this version of Card Shark.
And Card Shark has been your pet this entire time?
No, I've captured him.
Oh, he's now your pet. He once was not, now is.
No, he was a wild beast.
Okay.
Threatening this show about every 3 to 4 months.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the lore is intact.
It's quite clear. The canon is consistent. Thank you very much. But we'll see what happens.
Whatever you say, sir.
Thank you. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you, everyone, for being here. The Cardinals are in the hunt.
Yeah.
And we're here every week to bring it to you. Breaking news. The only Cardinal podcast best for breaking news.
Is this the only podcast that's actively talking people out of listening to it?
If there's one thing we've learned from this episode, vote for Nate. And we'll be back next week with another episode. Check out the links to everything, including the Patreon at talkingaboutbirds.com. If you have a question or comment for the show, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. And that will do it this week. And until next week, go Cardinals.
Go Birds.